Algae are one of the simplest and oldest organisms on Earth, and they're full of oil.
All of the oil production biochemistry that's in a canola plant or a palm tree or a soybean first arose in algae a very long time ago. So oil production pathways in algae are among the most robust of any organism on Earth.
Dillon holds a PhD in genetics and is also a patent attorney. His company Solazyme was one of the first to try to optimize algae's oil production. His idea is to feed them. Though in the wild algae live off just sunlight and CO2, they can also eat biomass such as wood chips, which they convert to oil.
So what we do at Solazyme is take strains of algae from the wild and identify the ones that have very efficient pathways for converting that biomass directly into oil. And then once we find the right strains that do that, we work on optimizing the process to reduce the cycle time and reduce the cost of making that oil.
And what's most impressive about oil created from algae is that it's practically the same as oil extracted from the ground. Vehicles can run on algae fuel without any modification.
Well, you say algae and I say algae, but we're far from calling the whole thing off. And judging by the amount of capital that's been pouring into this industry lately, the race is really on to get fuel from this out of the science lab and into large-scale production.
Solazyme uses fermentation tanks to grow the algae and says it's already made thousands of gallons of oil.
And the task at hand now, frankly, is not so much scaling it up. We've done that. It's reducing the cost of manufacturing a gallon to the point where it's at economic parity with fossil-based transportation fuels. We expect to be at those costs of production within 24 to 36 months.
And that's what's attracting investors.
We have to find those companies that are really going into the commercial world as opposed to being in the laboratory for the next 3 to 5, 6 years, which certainly would not fit our financial model. In the case of Solazyme, they're there.
Competition within the algae to oil space is fierce. Sapphire Energy in San Diego has the same end goal, but a different technique. Rather than feeding the algae with biomass, they're developing strains that grow with just sunlight and CO2.
What we are proposing is to use non-arable land and non-potable water so that we're not in competition with either existing agriculture or existing sources of municipal or agricultural water.
And they're confident they've figured out how to scale up using agricultural models.
When we think about commercial production, we think about 10,000 barrels a day. And we'd like to hit those kinds of numbers in the next 3 to 5 years. And then from there, we would look to expand our production base into many 10,000 barrel a day facilities.
And even in an economic slowdown, those projections have attracted a wave of investment, $100 million in its last round.
It's given the company the ability to make decisions about its development and make decisions about partnering independent of the kind of need for financing and the pressures that you would feel if you were in the arena right now.
As a venture capitalist, this is a project that has enormous rewards. We have any number of business models open to us. We could drop directly into existing refinery, we could buy our own, we could partner, we could build our own. It's a long list. The bottom line is that because it is the direct drop-in, all those things are open to us.
For both Sapphire and Solazyme, the search continues for the perfect strain of algae, with the winning combination of a rapid growth rate and high oil content. And if they can sufficiently bring down costs, it would be a smooth transition from fossil fuels.
The beauty of our technology is, as a consumer, things won't change. You'll go to the gas station, you'll fill up your car, but you'll be doing it with a renewable fuel.
And so one of the world's oldest organisms could one day power the transport of the future.